What if I told you that a glass of wine could rekindle 15 years of lost intimacy and help you rekindle love after 60? Welcome to Senior Wellness. I'm Dr. Robert, and today I'm sharing a story that might just change the way you think about aging. Eleanor, sharp and elegant, just weeks from 73, has struggled with intimacy for nearly 15 years. The connection with her husband, Arthur, faded. They tried everything: therapy, books, supplements, but nothing worked. Then one evening, everything changed. Not with medication or treatments, but with a glass of wine. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, it's not. Stick with me, because today we're uncorking a forgotten truth. For over 30 years, I've helped people navigate aging with vitality. And here's what I've discovered. Intimacy doesn't vanish after 60. It just needs a different kind of support. Sometimes it's as simple as wine. Wine isn't just an indulgence. Specific types are packed with natural compounds that improve circulation, relax blood vessels, and reignite desire. No chemicals, no side effects, just nature at work. But not all wines are the same. Only a select few hold the key. Today I'll reveal which ones and why they work. As we age, our blood vessels tighten, making it harder for blood to flow. This affects everything: energy, clarity, and connection. If intimacy feels distant or delayed, it's often not aging, it's circulation. The good news? Circulation can be improved naturally and effectively, and the solution might already be in your home, on your wine rack. I'm not talking about just any bottle. It's about choosing the right wines in moderation. Certain red wines rich in polyphenols and resveratrol help your body produce nitric oxide, relaxing blood vessels and boosting energy. But here's the twist. Only a few wines have the right compounds to make a real difference. That's why I guide my patients, and now you, toward 4 specific wines that support circulation, intimacy, and vitality, without medication or uncomfortable conversations. So pour yourself a drink, because what you're about to learn could change the way you think about aging forever. Before we start exploring simple ways to stay healthy and well, I'd be truly grateful if you could take a moment to like this video. That small gesture helps more people just like you discover these gentle, useful tips. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way, whenever we share something new, you'll be the first to know, and we'd love to have you with us. Now let's dive in. First on our list is Pinot Noir, the circulation champion. When I first began suggesting Pinot Noir to my older patients, I was hopeful, but even I was touched by the stories I started hearing, often just weeks later. I remember a gentleman, Richard, 68 years young. He sat in my office, his eyes glistening. "Dr. Robert," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "I truly believed I would never feel that kind of deep connection with my dear wife Susan again." All it took, he shared, were a few small glasses of the right wine, savored mindfully, paired with a clear intention of reconnecting. And that wine was Pinot Noir. What makes Pinot Noir so extraordinary isn't just its sophisticated taste or its elegant character. It's what lies hidden within the delicate skins of the grape. This particular variety boasts some of the highest natural concentrations of resveratrol, that potent compound renowned for its ability to support the flexibility and health of our blood vessels. In simpler terms, it helps your arteries and veins to open up more easily, allowing blood to flow more freely. And this is especially important for those areas of the body so critical for physical closeness and heartfelt connection. As we age, it's a biological reality that our blood vessels can stiffen. That is not a failing on your part. It is simply a part of life's journey. But when circulation slows, a cascade of other changes can follow. You might notice your hands and feet are often cold, or perhaps you feel a little slower to respond when your partner reaches out for a touch. Intimacy can become more mechanical, or worse, it can fade away altogether. And it's so easy to resign oneself to thinking, well, this is just how it is now. But I have seen time and time again that it absolutely does not have to be this way. With just a few ounces of Pinot Noir, perhaps a few nights a week, alongside a generally healthy lifestyle, my patients have reported truly remarkable shifts. They often sleep more soundly. They wake with a greater sense of warmth and energy. And in those moments that truly matter, they feel wonderfully alive again, not just in their bodies, but emotionally too. Pinot Noir works because it is subtle. It doesn't overwhelm your system or force a reaction, as some medications might. Instead, it gently supports what your body is naturally trying to do, to open up, to circulate, to connect. It helps restore flow, both physically and within your relationship. There's a beautiful symbolism in it too, don't you think? A wine celebrated for its smooth, silky texture, helping to restore the smooth, comforting rhythm of closeness between two people who may have nearly forgotten how incredibly good it can feel just to be near one another. But Pinot Noir is just the beginning of our journey. There's another wine I often refer to as the artery defender, and it plays an equally vital role in helping your heart and body rediscover their natural, healthy rhythm. You might be quite surprised by what makes it so effective and why it can be especially beneficial when enjoyed, say before you retire for the evening. Let's explore that one next. Next, we have Cabernet Sauvignon, the artery defender. I recall a delightful couple, Michael, age 71, and his wife, Linda, 69. They had been married for over 40 wonderful years, still deeply in love. But as Michael put it, lately, Dr. Robert, it feels like there's an invisible wall between us. It's not emotional, not at all. It's physical. I want to be close to Linda, but my body just doesn't seem to cooperate like it used to. I listened very carefully to their story. And one of the first things I recommended was gently introducing a small amount of Cabernet Sauvignon into their weekly routine, not as a means of escape, but as a dedicated tool for reconnection. You see, Cabernet Sauvignon is far more than just a bold, dry red wine. It is exceptionally rich in compounds called pro-anthocyanidins. These are powerful antioxidants that help protect the delicate lining of your blood vessels, keeping them more elastic, more functional. This flexibility is absolutely crucial as we age, especially when it comes to restoring healthy blood flow throughout the entire body, including, importantly, to those parts that matter most when we speak of intimacy. Consider this. Your heart pumps roughly 2,000 gallons of blood every single day. But if your arteries are stiff or narrowed or inflamed, much of that vital flow is restricted. That means less oxygen is delivered, there's less sensitivity, and less responsiveness. This affects both men and women. What once felt natural and easy now requires conscious effort, and that can, unfortunately, make closeness feel more like a cherished memory than a present possibility. But when you gently support your circulatory system with something as natural and enjoyable as a few ounces of good Cabernet Sauvignon, you can start to notice real, tangible change. Some of my patients report a welcome warmth returning to their fingertips and toes. Others mention their sleep quality improves significantly. But the feedback I hear most consistently is this: "We're close again, Dr. Robert. Not just passing pleasantries, but really close." That's because when your blood is flowing as it should, everything else tends to follow. Touch feels different, more alive. Desire feels natural again, not forced or dutiful. Those precious moments of connection begin to return, without pressure, without expectation, just pure presence. And from a medical perspective, that is one of the most powerful and positive outcomes we can hope for. The ideal time to enjoy Cabernet Sauvignon is often in the evening, in small portions, perhaps with a light, healthy meal. It helps relax the body, gently open the vessels, and can beautifully set the stage for emotional closeness. It's not magic, my friends. It's physiology, wonderfully supported by nature. But Cabernet is only one piece of this fascinating puzzle. There's another wine I often suggest, perhaps less universally known, but deeply effective in restoring warmth, touch sensitivity, and a beautiful emotional openness. It has been affectionately called the warmth restorer, and what it does, especially for couples who may have felt a bit distant, might truly surprise you. Let's delve into that one now. Our third special wine is Sangiovese, the warmth restorer. Years ago, I consulted with a lovely lady named Carol. She was 68, had been widowed for 5 years, and was navigating the hopeful, yet sometimes hesitant, waters of a new relationship. She confided in me with a mixture of excitement and a touch of apprehension. Dr. Robert, I want to feel again, not just emotionally, but physically. But everything feels so muted. That poignant longing, that vulnerability, is something I hear quite often. At a certain age, we don't necessarily lose the desire for intimacy. What can happen is that we lose some of the warmth that makes it feel natural, inviting, and comfortable. When I introduced Carol to a simple, mindful ritual involving a few ounces of Sangiovese, she told me everything began to change for the better. Sangiovese, that classic Italian red wine, is a quiet hero when it comes to restoring warmth and circulation. What makes it so uniquely powerful is its rich, harmonious blend of flavonoids and a particularly potent antioxidant called quercetin. These natural compounds work synergistically to help improve blood flow, not only to your heart and brain, but also to your skin and extremities, precisely where sensitivity and responsiveness often begin. For those of us over 60, this can mean the welcome return of something they may not have felt in years. That gentle, pervasive heat of connection, the delightful tingling of an anticipated touch, and the profound emotional safety that comes with genuine physical closeness. When blood begins to circulate more freely, especially to the hands, the feet, and the pelvic region, it's not just about physical function, it's about presence. It's about feeling truly inhabited in your own body. My patients often describe this as a sense of coming back into themselves. They'll say things like, "I didn't realize how distant I'd actually felt until now," or "I can finally feel the warmth in my partner's touch again." And sometimes they don't need to say anything at all. A shared look, a gentle smile between two people, tells me everything I need to know. Sangiovese often works its best magic when it is shared. Perhaps a slow afternoon glass, a quiet moment together on the porch, a conversation that lingers a little longer than usual. That's where its true potential unfolds. Not because it fixes anything, but because it beautifully supports what is already there. The innate human desire to feel, to connect, to be close without fear or discomfort. And it achieves all of this gently through improved blood flow and reduced inflammation that works from the inside out. Carol later shared with me, "Dr. Robert, it wasn't just about my body changing. It was about remembering that I could still enjoy intimacy, that I could still feel truly alive." That kind of profound transformation doesn't always need a prescription. Sometimes it just needs the right kind of wine and the right kind of moment. And while Sangiovese is wonderfully powerful, there's one more wine that I find especially important, particularly for women over 60. It's often light, elegant, and sometimes overlooked, yet it quietly supports one of the most common intimacy challenges experienced after menopause. Let's talk about the wine I affectionately call the hidden gem. Finally, we explore dry rosé, the hidden gem for women's health. Her name was Patricia. She was 67, wonderfully vibrant, with a quick wit and a zest for life. But when we sat down to talk privately, her eyes filled with a quiet, unspoken frustration. "I love my husband David so deeply," she began, her voice soft. "But something has changed. I feel disconnected from my own body, and it makes me pull away." What Patricia described was something I've heard from many women over 60, the significant emotional toll that physical changes, especially those post-menopause, can take on intimacy. It's rarely a lack of love, but rather a quiet grief for the easy closeness that used to feel so effortless. That's when I told her about a wine that many people overlook in this context: true dry rosé. I'm not talking about the overly sugary kind often poured at summer parties, but the authentic dry rosés, typically made from grapes like Grenache or Mourvedre. These wines are characteristically light in alcohol, but surprisingly rich in polyphenols, especially those that support microcirculation and blood flow to delicate tissues. For women in particular, this kind of gentle, targeted support can make an extraordinary difference. As we age, it's natural for blood flow to sensitive areas to decline somewhat. It's often subtle at first, perhaps reduced sensitivity, a little dryness or discomfort where there used to be only ease. Over time, however, those physical changes can begin to affect the emotional experience of intimacy as well. Rosé, with its gentle vasodilating properties, helps to counteract this natural process. It encourages circulation not just to the heart and brain, but specifically to those areas where women often feel the effects of aging most profoundly. When Patricia began incorporating a few glasses of dry rosé into her week, always with food, always in moderation, she noticed not just physical shifts, but significant emotional ones too. "It wasn't about trying to be young again, Dr. Robert," she told me later, a new lightness in her voice. "It was about feeling connected to myself again. And from there, everything else just got easier." That is the quiet, understated power of this often underestimated wine. It doesn't shout, it doesn't overwhelm, it gently, respectfully reminds the body how to feel again. And for many women, and indeed their partners, that subtle return of warmth, softness, and responsiveness can be genuinely life-changing. I have seen couples begin to hold hands again after years of unspoken distance. I have watched women start to smile when they talk about their bodies instead of feeling ashamed or invisible, all from a few simple natural shifts that help bring vital blood flow back to where it matters most. But wine, as wonderful as these specific types can be, is only one part of the story. There's something deeper, something even more powerful that happens when you combine these rituals with the right mindset and a heartfelt emotional connection. In our final section, I'll show you how to weave this understanding into a lasting lifestyle, a way to nurture intimacy, vitality, and joy that can grow stronger year after year. A lasting lifestyle of connection. Over these past 3 decades, I've had the privilege of working with thousands of men and women in their 60s, 70s, and even beyond. I have sat across from individuals who truly believe their most meaningful moments of intimacy were firmly in the past. I have heard the quiet sadness in their voices, the kind that doesn't always show up on lab results or medical charts. And yet, I have also witnessed the profound, quiet joy that returns when something as fundamental as circulation begins to improve. Often, that joy begins not in a clinic or with a prescription pad, but around a dinner table, with a shared, thoughtfully chosen glass of wine. Each of the 4 wines we've explored today, Pinot Noir, Cabernet Sauvignon, Sangiovese, and dry rosé, holds something unique and beneficial. Pinot Noir gently opens the blood vessels, helping to bring back a sense of vitality that can often feel out of reach after 60. Cabernet Sauvignon acts as a defender of our arteries, helping the heart deliver blood with greater strength and ease. Sangiovese warms the body, awakening touch and presence in a way that many couples describe as coming home to each other again. And rosé, so gentle and often underestimated, helps women reclaim sensitivity and confidence in their bodies, especially after the natural seasons of change. But beyond the fascinating science and the beneficial compounds, there's something even more important at play here. What these wines truly offer is an invitation, a return to ritual, a chance to slow down, to share a glass, to create intentional space for conversations that don't need to be rushed, and for moments of connection that go far deeper than the surface. So many of us spend years focused on the demands of survival, on raising families, building careers, paying the bills. Then suddenly we find ourselves with more time again. But for many, that newfound time can feel unexpectedly quiet, or even a little empty. I have found that when couples begin this simple ritual, mindfully adding these specific wines into their week, not just for the physical health benefits, but as a shared, intentional practice, it often changes the entire tone of their relationship. There's a softness that returns, a glance that lingers just a second longer. The body, when given what it needs, responds in ways that are both subtle and wonderfully profound. That warmth, That closeness, it isn't lost to time. It has simply been waiting, patiently, to be invited back. Of course, wine alone will not solve everything. It is not a miracle in a bottle. But when paired with mindful choices, gentle movement, honest communication, and a genuine willingness to remain open to connection, it becomes part of something much larger, a lifestyle of connection. One that nourishes not just the heart and the body, but the relationship itself in its deepest sense. If I could offer one final piece of advice today, it would be this. Don't wait for a diagnosis or a crisis to start intentionally caring for your circulation and your intimacy. Start now. Start with small, intentional, enjoyable steps. Pour a glass of Pinot Noir and simply sit with your partner. Cook a light, healthy dinner and open a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon to share. Share a cherished memory, a heartfelt laugh, a gentle kiss. These are the moments that strengthen the arteries of your relationship, just as much as they support the ones in your body. You are not past your prime. You are not too old to rediscover joy, closeness, or desire. In fact, in many ways, this chapter of life holds the deepest capacity for love and connection, because it can be built not on urgency, but on true presence. So here's to your next glass. Here's to the warmth it may bring, and to the beautiful life that is still waiting to be fully, joyfully lived. If this message resonated with you today, if it reminded you that closeness and vitality don't have to fade with age, please take a moment to click that like button, share this episode, or leave a comment below. Your story, your voice, and your presence truly matter. You never know who else might need to hear that it's never too late to feel wonderfully alive again. Thank you for joining me on Senior Wellness. I'm Dr. Robert, wishing you health, happiness, and connection. Let's keep this important conversation going. Until next time.